Hey, good evening, guys. Welcome to Thursday's edition of DCL Talk Show. We have another exciting week of cricket to talk about, and I have Venu and Imti. Venu, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Imti.
Hey, thanks, Pradip. Welcome to all our listeners to yet another episode of DCL Talk Show on DCL Radio. Like Pradip mentioned, I think we had a blockbuster weekend, if I can call that. Some exciting results and some exciting games that we are going to talk about.
Thanks, Imti. And for all the listeners out there, if you're wondering why I'm hosting the show, Jagan's taking a break. He is either going to kick me, ban me from the show completely after today's talk show, or he's going to love me. Either way, we're going to find out.
Or he
Either way,
might
it's
take a
going to be
long break
interesting.
than expected. Who
But
knows?
anyway, we'll find out after the show. But anyway, so let's get into the games. KRCC versus Indus Thunders. Venu, you want to give us a rundown of this game?
Yeah, I thought this was a very interesting match to look at. KRCC started off batting first. They started slowly. Looks like they've lost quick wickets in the top order, but then Haider and Munid stitched a good partnership. They got them at least on a good track. And then, yeah, wickets kept falling. They got all out by 96 with 11 extras. It was great bowling by Srikanth, 2 wickets by Madhu and Ashwani, 2 wickets. But I think the most interesting thing was the Indus Thunder's batting, I should say. 5 and 5 by the openers, but Ronak played a very good innings with the 42 runs, and then Sandeep with 17. I was looking at the commentary side of it. Looks like they've lost the match in the last 3 overs. The last 3 overs, it's 3 runs, 3 runs, and 4 runs. It just felt like they were losing wickets on regular intervals. They were not able to have a good partnership. Even the ones and twos would have worked, but yeah, looks like they weren't able to keep the pressure on, and then that kind of reflected on the last 3 overs. But hard win for Indus Thunders, which they could have taken home easily, or at least in a comfortable way at the end, provided the run rate required. But yeah, KRCC, well done.
Yeah, and this is another game Indus chasing. They won 2 other close games. The last 9 wickets, they won by a wicket. And it looks like they won the toss on this one too. And they chose to bowl. I am not sure what the thought process here is. Maybe Sandeep is trying to give his team more confidence chasing.
No, I think
Because as you
it was
go ahead.
there was overnight rain and the Novi grounds that we played on was a little damp, so that could have been the reason.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
probably right. But either way, losing by 3 runs is a pretty hard pill to swallow, right? And the other thing, to your point, Venu, they only had 2 meaningful partnerships. 6th-wicket partnership of 25 runs and 7th-wicket partnership of 32 runs. Beyond that, it's not a lot of contribution from the top order or the middle order. And the other thing I noticed is there's a couple of players missing. Did Manoj play? No, he didn't. Yeah, so that's interesting. Maybe Dinesh didn't play either, so maybe they don't have the full team. Maybe there's a hardball conflict. But anyway, Indus got some work to do if they want to continue to chase. They want to put themselves in a position to chase. The middle order, I think, needs to stabilize a lot. Ronak scoring 42, Sandeep obviously, they will be the mainstay. I think that's the reason why they got close. But other than that, something to ponder for Indus. I don't think they're too worried. They don't have their key players, but yeah, some interesting thoughts there. Thanks, Venu. Next game of the night is Stars versus Detroit Titans. Inti, this is your game.
Yes, and I really don't want to talk about it, but I'll go through it as an analyst here. Again, I think Detroit Titans had a fantastic week this last week where they played back-to-back games and won two big-ticket games where they beat Gladiators on Saturday, and then on Sunday this was a rescheduled game against Stars, and I think they couldn't ask for a much better weekend. And top it off that with the India-Pakistan game where India winning too. So they really had a blast. Again, going into the details of this game, again, we were also playing in the Novi ground. The conditions were damp, but then even though that those conditions, I think Hari wanted to bat first. We won the toss. We elected to bat first, but then lost wicket in the very first over. Hari falling, and then after that, Deepak and Teja tried to stay there and stabilize. Slowly, the innings was getting some momentum, and then when Teja got out, after that, it was really like trying to get into the game, players coming in, trying to get into the playing zone, but all of them kind of getting starts, but then not able to sustain it for a long period. And then at one stage, in the halfway stage, we were like 39 for 4. It was looking good because we had some batting depth and we were like looking at maybe around 100 is what we were thinking. But then after the break, the game completely changed, where from at one stage we were 51 for 5, and then from there we just got all out for 56. So we lost like 5 wickets in the span of 5 runs. So that kind of was a collapse on this in the second half of the innings. Uh, Credit to Ronnie, who was persistent with his bowling those tight line and length and eventually getting those wickets. He has a fantastic spell, 5 overs, 6 wickets for 10 runs. And Kalyan Tanjavuru also was very relentless in his bowling. He was bowling good line and length. He also got 3 wickets in his 4.2 overs. I think overall it was very disciplined bowling from Titans where they were able to easily restrict Stars for 56. With that batting lineup, I think getting Stars all out for 56 was a phenomenal achievement. Then once they had the target in the mind, Detroit Titans, they really didn't bog down because sometimes you kind of get that target in mind and you might think, okay, let's just play out and we can just score the runs. No, I think Titans went in with a positive intent and they went in with positive intent, like I said, and they tried to score runs, rotate the strike, and Praveen Dige and Kalyan Tanjavuru really put up a good partnership of like 30 odd runs for the second wicket, and really there was not much score for the Stars bowlers to really put any pressure on there, and I think the Titans took this game very easily, chased down in 12 overs, and I think they really deserved this game. Very bad day in the field for Stars, but again, Titans a very, very good win and really should build their confidence.
Yeah, and thanks, MT. I really have to give a shout out to Ronnie. The guy is on a streak. He's on a tear. And this is the side that I'm looking at, right? He's not a young cub. I don't want to call him old because he's not, but he's in that age where, you know, people don't give him the credit. He's a great bowler, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he's the leading wicket taker right now in DCL. 19 wickets out of 5 matches, and I have to give him a credit. And typically this is going to stir things up here a little bit, but that's okay. When Indus, typically you see Molek, Ronak, you, and Roni part of a package, right? You get one, you get all three. And Thunders obviously didn't need the bowlers because they're loaded with good bowling, and Roni was left on the side. So I think Titans picking up Roni was a great strategy. And I am a fan of Roning, and this is awesome because he's bowling like he's got something to prove in this league. And the other thing that I want to talk about, everybody is looking at these quick, fast bowlers, right? This is something that you all need to think about. It's not the pace that's going to get you the wickets. It's bowling those tight line and length and understanding the weakness of the batsman who's facing you at that particular time and bowling to their weaknesses. And Roney does that match in and match out, right? Sometimes he gets the wicket, but in this case, he's obviously on a hot streak. But that's what's really exciting to me is, you see Tejas, you see Narnes, you see Dinesh Panditi's, but it's good to see guys like Roney being on the top of the entire league, which in by itself should kind of wake some people's eyes. But anyway, that's my thought and my observation about this one. And great for Roney. Kudos to you. 10-wicket weekend. Awesome performance. Congratulations. All right, next game of the night. Strikers versus SLCC Legends. I umpired this game, so I'll wait until Venu kind of goes and provides his thoughts.
I'll take your 2 cents at the end. Pradip is compiling, but yeah, I think strikers, not too much to talk about with their batting performance. The notable big numbers you see on the table is just 12 runs from Vinayak, then Amit, 10 runs. They're very closely, extras were very closely going to be the highest scorer, but Vinayak took it just by 1 run off. But yeah, 67 runs for 10 wickets in 24 overs. I should say great bowling performance overall by Guru and Ajit. They took 4 wickets each. And obviously with the economy rate, 2.2 and 1.6, they kept it really, really tight. Even though there's no maiden overs bowled, it just looks like it was just 1 or 2 runs every over with them bowling. So overall, great bowling performance. And I think it was an easy total to chase with the kind of batting they had up top with Harish hitting 23 and then Sai Pratap 14 runs, even though the bowling was disciplined with just 4 extras. I think the score on the board was too low for the strikers to defend. So yeah, I think overall it was a good all-round performance by SLCC.
Yeah, and I umpired this game, and what I hadn't seen the new strikers team. There's a lot of new faces in that team now, which is good, I think. But the other thing that I noticed is these guys play positive cricket, right? And every batsman that came in was playing their shots freely. Of course, sometimes you get away with that and sometimes you don't. In this particular game, obviously they didn't. But I like the intent, and maybe what they need to work on is understanding the situation better to put up a good score. But on their day, when those bats are going, they can put a lot of runs on some good teams this year. So bad luck for strikers, but I do like the energy. Of course, Pradip is Pradip, right? So, but anyway, so this was a good game, and I'm excited for the new strikers team. All right, next game of the night is MCC Miles and Pokeries. Empty?
Yeah, what a game this was. I thought it was a thriller. Went down almost to the last ball. And MCC Miles kind of holding the nerve in the end to clinch this victory. Pokeries were unbeaten until this point, but a very closely fought game, and MCC Miles ending up on the winning side. Some observations on this game. Again, Pokeries batting first, put up a score of 99, almost played the entire 25 overs. On the back of a beautiful 48 from their opening batsman Saran Raj and Vignesh Venkatesan supporting him with 15 runs. And then after that, not much really to talk in the batting lineup. So if you see, they were like only one big partnership and then nothing else to talk about. At one stage, again, like Vicky and Saran had put up a 48-run partnership for the second wicket, and they were at like 55 for one at one stage, and from there they got all out for 99. That means the 9 wickets they lost for this 40 odd runs. That kind of is a little worrying factor there, because if there was at least one or two other partnerships like 10-15 run partnerships, I think the scorecard would have looked a lot different. Another observation here is like the extras by MCC Miles was like very very low number, and that's really I think putting the pressure on the Pokeries batsmen and not letting them free their hands. And beautiful comeback in the last 6 overs, I thought, because from 80 odd in the 19th over, the last 6 overs is where, like, when you have wickets, you expect some runs to flow, which did not happen in this case, and Pokeries got bundled out for 99. Some excellent bowling in the death, I think. Sunil Somavarapu picking 5 wickets in his quota of overs, well supported by Abhilash, 3 wickets, and then Jashwant Deepak also giving that supporting role. I think Sunil bowled some good overs in the end where he picked up bulk of those wickets. And once wickets start falling, I think that kind of puts brakes on the scoring, and that's what happened here. Pokeries, I think, were below par, should have at least another 15-20 runs in that score. It would have looked a totally different ball game. Again, MCC Miles going into the chase, 100 runs, not an easy task with against Pokeries, but I think they definitely have the lineup to do that. And I think in this game they really did well to hang in there and prove a point, chasing that score and also coming victorious. The main contributions in that chase were from obviously Brahma in the opening 11 runs of 27 balls, supported by Hemant for a bit, and then Abhilash Reddy not out 34 from 50. I think that was the innings that really made the difference. Sanjay Longan also supported him in that partnership. If you see, I think that was the big partnership where between Sanjay and Abhilash Patpi, 30 odd runs for the fifth wicket, which kind of gave them the stability and the confidence to chase this down. They took it down to the last over, and with 2 balls to spare, I think they crossed the line. Uh, Again, on the bowling front, I think Vignesh and Priyesh were the only wicket takers. A couple of bowlers going more than 5 runs per over there, not able to restrict the runs, I think. And the other thing is extras, 15 extras. Compare that to 4 extras from MCC Miles. You have 11-run difference there, which is the difference, I think. The two major differences that I see is the partnerships, lack of partnerships in the Pokeries innings, and then in the MCC Miles they had like couple or 2 or 3 partnerships of 10, 15, 20 run partnerships, and then the extras, which made the difference. Overall, I think this is a great victory for MCC Miles, because I think they have been a little on and off, but I think this victory will definitely give them the much needed confidence and the boost going forward in the league.
Yeah, and this is a great win for MCC against the top team in the league right now, right? So that's got to give them a lot of confidence. MCC Miles, they have the talent, and I think the problem has been consistency, to your point, and hopefully they can figure this out, because they can definitely give a run for your money against any good teams in the league this year on their day. Hopefully they can figure some of these things out. And obviously, I think the other factor, Rahul is the key. Rahul, Abhilash, and Sanjay, in my view. The others can bat. They can score some runs, but I see these 3 guys playing long innings. They have the potential to play long innings and change this, the game. So it's important for those guys to kind of get back. I think Sanjay's been playing well. Abhilash, I don't know. This might be his only game so far where he scored. Rahul needs to get in, I think, in order for MCC to go deep. But I'm excited for MCC. Hopefully they can get their consistency back. Awesome.
Yeah, one thing
Thanks,
for MCC Miles, one last thought is like when
Sure.
the entire team is available with the roster, right? I think MCC Miles is a one team where they have good all-round ability in that team, like that has a good, well-rounded team, I think. Uh, Again, like we have some teams which are batting heavy and bowling heavy, that kind of situation, but I think MCC Miles has a perfect balance, is what I think, if everyone is available in that lineup.
Yeah, no, that's a great observation. I agree with you 100%. A lot of all-rounders. but 3 key guys can play long innings. I think that's important too. Awesome. Okay, the next game of the night is United Raptors and Indus Thunders. Venu.
Yeah, I think maybe going back to Pokeries versus MCC Miles, right? I I'm a big fan of whenever there's a close match happening. So going to the last over, that's something everyone wants to see, right? I think that's a perfect segue of the next match, United Raptors versus Indus Thunders. The scorecard is very disappointing, to be honest.
Yep.
United Raptors 79 and Indus Thunders toppling down to 22 runs, which is the entire team score. I think Indus Thunders bowled really well to contain the Raptors to 79. So some notable performances: Pradip 13 runs, Krishna 11 runs, and Harsha 20 runs. I feel like every time a batsman gets 10 runs, it should be treated more than 10 runs, maybe 20 runs or 30 runs in DCL. That's how I look at it, because those 10 runs kind of pile up really well with the team score, right? So that was a perfect example of what United Raptors did. They got those 20 runs, 10 runs here and there, and I think the bowling department did the rest. Very tight with the bowling. They finished the 10 wickets of Indus Thunders in just 13 overs. So Indus Thunders played less than or a bit more than half of the overs quota, and all of the numbers were just in single digits, not even more than, the high scorer was 5 runs, which is very sad to see. But yeah, I don't want to take it off from the United Raptors bowling team. 3 wickets by Salman, 3 by Krishna Chaitanya, one each by Rahim, Amir, and Pradip. Overall, great bowling performance, but yeah, disappointing to see how Indus Thunders batted. I'm pretty sure this might have had a huge impact on how they played the match on Sunday, but I hope Indus Thunders get back to their streak and play their natural game. But this is definitely not their natural game.
Yeah, and that's great points, Venu. What's concerning to me is the way they lost. I mean, when you play, obviously somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, but it looks totally one-sided on the scorecard. Losing 10 wickets in 13 overs, that's unheard of. I don't know when was the last time somebody got all out for 13 overs, but for a team like Indus to get out that meekly, I don't know what's going on. And the other thing that I want to, I keep harping on this, and I mentioned this in our last show, this show as well. This is another game they chased and they didn't do well, right?
Yep.
So I don't know. I see a pattern here out of 4 games that 2-1, they won twice. They was pretty close and they lost twice. There seems to be a pattern emerging here. In this case, they lost the toss and Raptors chose to bat, but there definitely seems to be a pattern here. And the other thing, obviously, is Chaitan was missing this weekend. Maybe he's out of town, but Chaitan seems to be, in my view, the heart of Thunders. And, he typically comes in and stabilizes innings, scores those runs, takes those wickets, and does everything that he's asked to do. And maybe that's another key point that obviously he was not available. He was out of town. But either way, Indus has the depth to pick up, right, and do well. But I am totally disappointed by the Indus Thunders loss on this one. The entire weekend, I think they lost both the games, right? So, and they didn't lose close. They were not, well, one, I guess, was a close game. But this one is totally one-sided. So hopefully Gopu has some things he needs to figure out pretty quickly. Okay, all right. The next game of the night is Hawks and KRCC. Imtiaz.
Yeah, again, this was KRCC also played 2 games this weekend, and this was their original scheduled game on Saturday against Hawks. I think somehow Hawks has not been at their full potential this season yet because they have played like 4 games and lost 3 of them, and I'm not seeing that promise that they had showed in the previous seasons. Going into the details, I think Hawks batted first after winning the toss, and they were able to put up a score of 54 in 23 overs, thanks to 10 extras, and then Nikhil Pasula and Naresh Arkat, the only double-digit scores in that lineup. Again, like lack of partnerships is what I can quickly look when I look at the scorecard. That is what I observe: lack of partnerships, and then even though players trying to stay there and make something happen, really did not work for them, because I see quite a few players who were hanging in there for a while, like playing out like 15, 16, 30, 29 deliveries. They're trying to stay there and make something out of this game and score some runs, but that did not happen. And I think kudos to the KRCC bowling lineup where they were relentless. Almost all bowlers picking up wickets. Hemant and Haider, the pick of the wickets with 3 wickets each in their spells. Sahesh, Tamim, and Muned also among the wickets. Overall, I think it was a well-rounded, disciplined bowling effort from KRCC, and I think this was also much needed for KRCC. If you look at them, right, because their season also has been on and off in the first 2 games. With availability issues, I guess. But then I think this game they came out full-fledged and then proved a point in their bowling. Once they had 54 to chase, I think they definitely have the batting unit to chase that down, and I think they were able to do that in 13 and a half overs for the loss of 3 wickets. Sahesh stayed there, went opening and stayed there, made sure he stayed there till the end, scored 22 not out from 35 balls, and then Muned also chipping in with 20 runs from 17. I think not much score there for the bowling lineup of Hawks to really defend. In the process, they tried to do something different and used up 7 bowlers, but really there was no scoreboard pressure at all. So to make something out of this match, overall, I think it was an easy win for KRCC and much needed win. Uh, Again, KRCC also had a fantastic weekend, right? They won both the games, so I think somehow on the points table they have made up for the initial losses. So I think KRCC is slowly and steadily finding their footing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And do you guys know if what's the lefty bowler's name? I can't remember. He's
Naresh
played
Arkat,
for.
yeah, he played. He's their
Yeah, no.
captain, right?
Oh, no. I'm talking about KRCC lefty, the fast bowler. Not Munid, not Oni. There's another guy. I can't remember his name anymore. But
Mufassir?
Mufassir. Do you know if he hasn't played a single game? Is he available this year?
I'm not sure about that.
Because I think they're missing him a lot. Even though this was an easy game. Anyway, to your point, the Hawks, kind of having a disappointing season. Let me ask you guys this question. Hawks definitely surprised a few teams last year, right? And the year before as well. But do you guys think that Hawks, when facing good, strong teams, they still lack maybe 1 or 2 players to compete and actually win consistently in Division 1? What do you guys think?
Yeah, if you had asked this question maybe a couple of weeks or 3-4 weeks ago, or the initial stage of the season, I would have said maybe yes. But now that looking at the team compositions and how strong the Division 1 games will be going forward, right? So
Yeah.
I think Hawks is missing that spark this season for some reason.
Mm.
Again, last year they had surprised us with some of the results where they came out victorious, and I think it was the team momentum last year where they were able to make things happen a lot, which I think that spark is somewhat missing this season. Again, it
Yeah.
could be the
And
divisional
maybe,
format as well. So
yeah,
there's a lot of things that could be the reason.
yeah. Maybe this season will give them the confidence, confirmation for them to know that, hey, we belong in this league. We can play and we can actually win some of these games, right? So it takes a while, but you're right. I mean, Division 1, there's a handful of games that are relatively easy, so to speak, but majority of the games teams play are going to be pretty close, evenly contested with talent, really good talent, 1 to 11, 1 to 12. So maybe that's what they need. One's confidence, maybe, and the second thing is maybe they need one or two missing pieces that they need to plug in.
Yeah, I
Awesome,
definitely feel
great.
like Division One is one level up the other, for example, Division Two, right? But I
Yep.
hope Hawks don't get into the bubble of feeling that we're in Division One, we might be the underdogs, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
just sitting together, figuring out what went wrong, and if they can come up with a solution, I'm excited to see what they can come up with in the next couple of games.
Yeah, and
Yeah, again,
honeymoon. Sorry, go ahead, MT.
no, I was just saying that again, we are not taking anything away from Hawks. They deserve the spot
Yeah,
in the Division One, and they are
Yep.
here for a reason, right? But I think
yeah,
somehow the last season momentum or the spark has not transitioned into this season, is what I am thinking. So I think
yeah,
one good win again might bring things back for them. That momentum, and it's all about confidence and momentum, basically. Like so.
yeah.
Exactly.
And the games they did lose, some of them were pretty close. Against Indus Thunders, I think they lost pretty. That game could have gone either way. And there might have been a few other games that was close too. But I think that this transition year is what I call them, because they are definitely good and they definitely belong in Division One, but they can compete and uh, be in the top 12 by just finding that one or two missing link, I think. And of course, the confidence will help as well. Okay, great. The next game of the night is Hitman and Dynamite. Venu.
I love it when low scores are defended. It's another perfect example.
Yeah,
Hitman,
right.
yeah, it's there's only one double-digit score by Abdul. Other than that, it's 7 runs by Iman and Mahfouz. Yeah, I think it was hard for them to find partnerships. They were not able to find anything there. Um, Nothing else to talk about on the batting side. Other than that, extras 9, which helped them score 56. I think it was a great bowling performance overall. Arun took 4 wickets, 2 maidens, which is absolutely amazing. And then 3 wickets by Rajkumar, and then Mohammad took 2 wickets. One thing which was very interesting was Akhtar Khan. He started off his over. Looks like he bowled 2 no balls, and he was not allowed to bowl after that. I'm not sure if he's a star bowler in their team, but it's definitely disappointing when the first bowler bowls for 2 no balls and is not allowed to bowl after that. Maybe it was a disappointment, and they could have restricted Hitman for a lower score than that, but we wouldn't know that. After that, Dynamites, I think, I don't know if they took too much pressure or the bowling was very good. But to be honest, the bowling department, the 5 people bowled exceptionally well. 6 wickets by Iman, which is absolutely amazing within the 5 over mark. And then 2 wickets by Arun and 1 wicket by Abdul. Overall, yeah, it felt like a very mediocre batting performance. Arun, the captain, scored 12 runs, which was the highest. Um, when you look at the scorecard, you might feel that it's a low scoring game and we can just walk onto the target. But yeah, I should say great bowling performance to keep the pressure up and to value every single run they're defending. But overall, yeah, as I mentioned, I love seeing low scoring runs being defended.
Yeah, and I was watching this game. I was watching 3 games at the same time: GLCC, KCC, and this game at Novi. I was pretty impressed by this guy, Iman. He's got the pace, but he can move the ball really well. And he was bowling that perfect line and length just outside the off stump and bringing the ball back in. And some of the guys who got bowled were clean bowled, the ball going right in between the bat and pad, right? They had no clue. And I was totally impressed by this kid. And I think Majid was mentioning about the 3 Pakistani bowlers that Dynamites were bringing. Maybe those are the guys. And maybe that's the other guy. I don't know. Was it on the Hitman side? That the guy who couldn't bowl after 2 balls, Venu?
Yes. No, I think it was
Okay.
Dynamites.
Dynamite. Okay. Never
Yep.
mind.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah, Iman, I'm totally impressed. Good luck to him for the rest of the season. I love bowlers like that who can actually uh, not only just bowl with pace, but bowl that accurate length and move the ball either out or in or both. Congrats to Iman on this one. I was really impressed by his bowling. All right, cool. Next game of the night, Detroit Titans Glads, empty. This was, I have so many things to say on this one. Go ahead and
Well, what to say about this game? It's a totally unexpected game again. Like again, we knew Detroit Titans would come hard at this game against Gladiators, but I think somehow Gladiators really did not show up to this game somehow. Uh, if you're looking into the details, right? Detroit Titans, who batted first, were uh, only able to put up a score of 76 for the loss of 10 wickets, which is a below par score considering the Gladiators batting lineup. Again, we always
Yeah.
we know that Gladiators is a strong team and a batting heavy team, but somehow this season I think they have struggled a little bit. If even you look at the past results, the 2 games that they won were like close ones, like one with 2 wickets each in both the games, and then the 3 games that they lost were with quite a decent margin. It was not close games, I would say. So something seems to be amiss. Again, Satya and team needs to figure that out and quickly come back, because 3 losses in 5 games might really haunt them in the end of the season with the standings and stuff. So uh, getting back into the details of this game, I think Gladiators again, who won the toss, selected to bowl first, actually made a good start. They picked up quick wickets. I think Titans were like 4 down for 11 in the 6th over, and I think things were looking very good for them. But then at this point, Satish Gaba and Tarun Agara came together and stitched a partnership of 25 runs, almost run a ball there. And I think that kind of stabilized a little bit and gave some confidence. But they lost wickets again after that, another 14-15 run partnership for the next wicket. But somehow that impetus was not there until Dwanit came into the equation, where he scored run a ball 18 from 17, and I think that gives some meat to the score in the end, because 76 is what they were able to achieve in the end with the help of 10 extras and the 18 runs scored by Dwanit. Take those out, they were looking at 50 odd runs, even though they had a good partnership for the 5th wicket, run a ball 25-run partnership. But apart from these notable things, I think the rest of the batting order looked pretty ordinary there, like a lot of single digit scores and missing intent. And again, I think it was really good bowling from Gladiators in the beginning, but somehow they gave away some extra runs, and eventually that costed them the game. Bowling figures: Suyog Gupta and Jawad Zahir were pick of the bowlers with 3 wickets each. Suyog going for some runs, but I think Jawad was very economical. Then Shahnawaz and Jeet and Satya all among wickets there. Overall, if you look at the first half of the game, 76, definitely a happy performance for Glads, because 76 they would definitely fancy their chances to chase that down on any given day, but that did not happen. Somehow again, Detroit Titans bowling turned up this game. Again, not those fast bowlers, but those accurate line and length bowlers like Ronnie, again picking up 4 wickets in this game, put a dent in that chase, and the chase really never took off. If you see the batting scorecard, entire batting scorecard is just with single digits, and out of those, I see at least 5 or 6 duck outs. So when you have 6 people getting out for 0, that tells a story there. They got all out for 33 in 15 overs. Again, I think this was absolutely brilliant bowling from Detroit Titans, where they really never let Gladiators batsmen uh, take off at any point of the game. Uh, Again, like bowling figures, Ronnie, a beautiful spell again, 4 wickets for 9 runs, well supported by Kalyan and Praveen picking 2 wickets each, and then Parag, Satish also among the wickets. So every bowler contributing to that defense of that 76. I think defending 76 again Gladiators is a very, very commendable effort, I would say. And this will only give a lot of confidence to Detroit Titans going forward. Like I said, double game weekend, and they won both the big games, and that will really help them in the standings.
Yeah, and I don't know you. I don't even know where to begin on this one. God, they've lost 3 games in a row, lads. There's definitely something going on. I have no idea what it is. And I don't know when was the last time Glads got all out for less than 50 intake. I
Yeah,
have to
I was
scratch my
at,
head.
yeah, I had that
Sorry, go ahead.
point on in my notes, but I maybe forgot. So I don't know if this is this the lowest score for Gladiators, or I don't
I
know.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but it's definitely it's not. I've never. First of all, this was a major upset in my book, because look, Satish is working his miracles, Gaba.
Mhm.
It's almost the same team as last year, right? With the exception of Roney. Obviously, that has been the magic trick. But outside of that, I don't see any new faces. Do you? On the
I think
Titan
Kalyan,
side?
I don't know if Kalyan played last year for Titans, but
Mm,
Kalyan is an addition, is I think, and he's a very good addition, if in my opinion, because he's a very good all rounder who can definitely
yeah.
contribute with both bat and ball.
Mm,
Very good, confident player. So Kalyan is also
yeah.
a good addition this year.
Yeah, you're right. He did bowl 4 overs and he gave only 8 runs for 2 wickets. Yeah, so I don't even know where to begin. So here's what I was looking at today. Because this is Glads definitely need to do something quick. They don't have enough games to kind of catch up. They have 7 games. I've given them 3 of those 7 games. I think that's on their win column. The other 4 games against really good opponents, they have to win at least 2 out of those 4, right? So 7 games, I think, is what's going to get Division One, Pool A, Pool B. I don't know, Pool A maybe. Uh, Needs to win to qualify, I think, for the playoffs. Now, obviously, you have to win those bonus points as well. So I am not sure if Glads don't get their act together, they are in serious trouble this year. And I think Jagan asked a question on Tuesday. If Glads don't make the playoff, what happens to Glads? Do they come back next year? I don't know the answer to that. I think slowly the interest. I personally feel, this is my personal, this is what I feel. I don't know if this is true or not. There is something going on. People are losing interest. Uh, they're coming together. It's not like this is an average team, right? This is who's who of DCL. And it's really concerning. So Satya, Viju, if you're still managing Glads, there's something going on you need to fix really quick. Let's see. Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. I don't know who they're playing next game, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, there is something going on with Glads. It's totally disappointing to see the last year champion, right? That's what's shocking. They won the
Yeah,
championship last year.
what I'm thinking is I think they're missing Arjun big time. Again, not just for his playing abilities, but I think he was kind of a bonding factor too in the team. I think maybe that
Yeah,
is missing is what I feel from the outside. Again, I don't know what they're dealing with right now. But again, looking at these results, it's very unlike of Gladiators for sure.
yeah,
Again, players losing interest, I don't think that is true, because like who's who of cricket. And again, Gladiators historically always in the league games has always been like this. Like they always have players come and play, and because they have a lot of leather ball dependency, right? So
yeah,
again, I don't see an issue there, but I think some of the key players who are like integral part of the team are missing. Like I said, Arjun is one, and then uh,
yeah,
I don't know if Hardeep played last game, this Titans game, but yeah.
yeah. He
So
did.
there are some couple of okay. There were yeah. So he hasn't really hit form yet. I think
Yeah,
form is a factor too. which is affecting these results for them.
Yeah, and I haven't seen Mansur play for them this year yet. Have you?
I don't recall because no, I don't think he has played yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so Glad's got some work to do. We'll keep an eye out what happens the rest of the season. Next game of the night, Fighters and Canton Hurricanes. Imti, you get this one.
Oh, back to back. Yep. Okay. Again, this one, kind of one-sided in hindsight when we look at the scorecard. Fighters had a very good outing in this one. Batted first after winning the toss and put up a huge score of 122. Played out the entire 25 overs, loss of 7 wickets. I think the 122 was totally thanks to the brilliant innings by their opener Arjun Dev Reddy Alipur, who scored 55 from 67 balls, just 1-4 in that innings. That tells a lot about the way he played. 51 runs he scored outside of boundaries, that is ones and twos, and just that is an incredible effort. He was well supported by Ravitej Pujari in the middle with 17 runs of 26 balls, and then low down the order by their captain Mahesh Babu, who scored 18 from 17, more than a ball, and then some last-minute impetus from Siva Ganesh, 10 from 5. All in all, contributing to that 122 runs. I think it was, again, the key here was partnerships. I think they had consistent partnerships of 10, 15, 20 run kind of partnerships throughout the innings, which kept the scoreboard ticking and helped them get that score of 122 against the bowling lineup of Canton Hurricanes. Again, Canton Hurricanes also have decent bowling. Again, they haven't had the results go their way this year yet, but Canton Hurricanes also kind of struggling a bit, I think. In this innings, they also used 7 bowlers. Parikshit was pick of their bowlers with 3 wickets in his squad of 5 overs, with then some of their bowlers going more than run a ball and were not able to restrict. So another thing is extras, only 7 extras, but still 122 runs being scored. That tells like it was more from the bat, and that was like well earned runs from the batting team there. 122 to defend, I think definitely Fighters going in confident for the defense. Canton Hurricanes do have some players who can change games pretty quickly. But in this case, I think that chase also never really took off. They lost quick wickets in the beginning. They were like 3 down for 9 in like 5 overs. Then a small partnership building there for the 4th wicket. Then after that, again, consistently losing wickets almost every couple of overs there. Notable performance in the chase, Mohammad Muqaddas, who stayed there for a bit in the middle order, 20 runs from 37 balls. Prabhu Sinasamy also stayed there, 11 runs from 27 balls. These were the only 2 notable double-digit scores. Other than that, again, like a very, very ordinary-looking scorecard. When you're chasing 122, you would at least like to see at least 2 or 3 double-digit scores in there with some solid partnerships, which did not happen. And I think they got bundled out for 55, even though they played for 22 overs. Not much score there to talk about. Again, a brilliant bowling performance. Once you have that big score to back up, I think the bowlers also go in with confidence, and I think that clearly showed here. Sai Manoj, Mahesh Babu, pick of the bowlers with 3 wickets each. Again, like beautiful bowling, economical bowling by both of them. Venkat Vadnala, as always, among the wickets, and economical bowling there, 2 wickets for him as well. And then a couple of other bowlers also chipping in with 1 wicket each. So overall, I think this was a very good game for Fighters after some disappointing loss last week in the last game, if I remember correctly. This will definitely help their confidence and take them through the season. Looking at the points table, right, I think Fighters is in a good shape. Just bringing up they have lost only 1 game, if I remember, Fighters.
Wow. That's pretty
Yes, they've played
impressive.
5 and they have won 4 games. So placed second on the points table right now. So this is really good for them going deep into the league, into the season.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, Canton Hurricanes, somebody said that they didn't want to be in Division One this year. So they kind of, I guess, they kind of knew what they were up against, and that's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway. All right, last game of the night is GLCC Troy Hawks Venu.
Yep. So yeah, I was part of Troy Hawks for this match. GLCC, I felt they put up a pretty good total, 142. So in their batting, they started off on a slower pace, if I could say. Murli with 12 runs, Hemant, Cheluvaya, 20 runs. But I think the pick of the batsmen were Hitesh, who did not score a boundary. Everything was on the offside, easy twos, and he was always on way away from his leg stump, always trying to convert those on the stump balls to for the 2 runs. So he did that really well, trying to rotate the strike. Pradip hit 2 sixes, scored 19, but unfortunately one of the ball kept really low, so he was bowled there. Other than that, Vamsi at the end hit 3 sixes. I felt until Vamsi, the scorecard was ticking at about 3 or 4 runs and over. But then those 3 sixes helped them get the 140 plus score, which was a pretty good score no matter which circumstance we talk about. So at least on the first innings, I'd say GLCC batted really well. Started off slow because we knew that provided the history in their past few games, if they have pressure, they lose wickets quickly. But credit to them that they stayed calm, stayed on the crease, got those runs, and once they got in the flow, they started scoring runs. Bowling, it's a pretty good bowling performance, I should say, but it's just those 6 runs which spoiled the economy rate of a couple of bowlers. Murli took 2 wickets, myself took 2 wickets, and Sajid, Fahad, and Nitin took a wicket each. Coming to the batting of Troy Hawks, lost a quick wicket of Anmol, but I thought it was a very good innings by Rushain, hitting 42 runs, again, without a boundary scored. So that was a highlight of this match, right? The highest scorers never scored a boundary, which was pretty, I should say, strong in their head that they do not want to play it on the leg side in the air, but want to make sure they're just contributing to the team. This is pretty good to see. And then Murli scored a valuable 24 runs. Other than that, once we lost Murli's wicket, Revant and Nitin were able to score a boundary and a sixer respectively. But it just felt like they were into the flow of hitting fours and sixes, and they wanted to capitalize the next ball as well. So that's where they lost their wickets. And once those 2 wickets toppled down, we lost quick successive wickets. And in the end, we I think lost with 18 runs. And if I look back on what changed or why Troy Hawks lost, I'd say those 3 sixes by KK. Vamsi KK might have changed it. The momentum shifted there. But otherwise, I should say, following up on the performance Troy Hawks had in the previous DCL game, this was a pretty good batting comeback. But it was a game to win, but it was just those final death overs where the batsmen were not able to capitalize. But yeah, kudos to GLCC to getting back to the winning streak. But I think Troy Hawks have good players in their team. They just have to pull up their socks and come up, provided we have 2 weeks off without diesel game. So it'll be a good time to reconvene and think about strategies and then come back strong in the next game.
Yeah, I was watching this game, Rena. You guys put up a commendable performance there. I personally felt it might have, your last couple of quick wickets there. If you guys had a couple of good partnerships, you guys could have made this game interesting.
Right.
But you guys played really well, and I'm happy for you guys. Because chasing 140 is not easy, and you guys got close, and 18 runs. And to your point, once these 3 sixes, maybe that might have been the difference, right? But anyway, yeah, good luck to the rest of the season, man. You guys have a great team, by the way.
Yep, thank you.
Awesome. All right, so we're done with the games. But before I go to predictions, I have a couple of things that I want to bring up. I hope you guys are okay, and Jagan hopefully won't kick us out. So,
Only if they're
Okay.
controversial.
so let me ask you guys this. Now that we have Division 1, Division 2, Division 1, as we know, is every team is loaded, right? When I say loaded, it's not just 12 guys. You have 14, 15 guys who can come in and change the game at any given time. The challenge, of course, for the captain is to pick the 12, right? That's the only number of players you can pick. Luckily, there are, guys who play hardball, blah, blah, blah. They're not available. That typically is not an issue during the regular season. But what happens during playoffs, right? How do you go about, and this is for both you guys are captains, right? Or ex-captain, Imti. So how do you guys go about, forget about the regular season. You have all your roster available, right? How do you guys go about picking your 12? And this is a loaded question. The second part of that question is, how do you communicate to the others that are not going to make the 12? Imti, you want to go first?
Yeah, well, again, like the easy answer for this is I am not in that situation anymore from the last couple
But
of
you
years.
were last year or whatever it was, right? So what was your thought process? Tell me.
Yeah, again, like it's a very tough call again when you're in that situation, right? Because you have all these players available, you have the full unit that you have to pick, only 12 out of that, and then you have people who have been regular to the season, contributing in all aspects, and then somehow you just have to maybe take a hard decision and sit them out because you have another X factor player coming in. That's the exact question you're asking, right? So yeah, it's a difficult thing. I think the key here is, I think, uh, kind of setting the expectation. And if some player has been performing really well through the season, there is no way that you can sit that player out for the playoff, no matter what. So I think it's a combination of both, where you see the form, the regular season form, and then also whoever is coming back into the team for the playoffs, like where do you really see a role fit versus the I think it kind of weighs. You have to weigh in like which is more important for the playoff game. You need somebody who's in form and full confidence, or you need somebody with an X factor or a tag attached to him saying that okay, this player gives us this in the game. So, but yeah, again, it's a difficult call no matter what. Like there are different opinions to this. Like we go through this every season. We kind of face this come playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I think it's a difficult call. I think really a lot of credit should go to the captains because they do a lot of things in the back end which people really do not know, and like all the things that they do for the team, like there's like a lot of credit should be given to the captains, I feel.
Yeah, and so let me ask you the follow-up question there, right? Do you set that expectation at the beginning of the season because you know who your most likely roster for playoffs is going to look like or what it's going to look like, barring some performance issues and stuff like that? Do you communicate that early in the season or do you communicate that just before the playoffs start?
No, again, like once we start the season, right, I think there is a clear communication that goes out saying that, okay, we are here to win the championship. And obviously we'll only be able to do that when everybody steps up and performs, right? So you cannot just expect one or two players to perform all the games and then win the championship. So obviously the performance has to be there. And if performance is there, definitely that speaks and that earns him a spot in the team, right? So if you're not performing and still expecting to play for the playoffs when you have a good lineup already available, then that is where I think a lot of these issues creep in. So
yeah. No, I mean I agree. I think you need to set that expectation up front because you don't want to. This is my personal opinion, right? You
Yeah,
don't
again,
want to
I don't
wait
think there is a
until,
set,
yeah,
there is a
yeah.
set thing that's saying that these players are playoff players and this is what the team will look like for playoffs. And definitely
Yeah.
no, because at the beginning of the season, I think everybody starting afresh, so everybody has to prove. And obviously, some players are only able to play a few games. So again, we can only measure them for those games, right? We cannot like compare them with somebody who's playing all the 12 games versus somebody who's playing just 3 or 4 games for the qualification process and has that X factor attached to him. So then that is the real hard decision that you got to take in the playoff. I think, do you really go with somebody who's there for the 12 games and performed versus the X factor player? So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Venu, what do you think? What do you do? How do you go about this?
First of all, Pradip, I'd say thanks for asking this question. I don't
Yeah.
think captains are given enough credit on team management. To be honest, when I was just a team member, right, I used to think that captains just work on the field, not off the field. But I have a complete different image now on how
Yeah.
captains work. It's those Thursdays and Fridays the captains start building the team for the Saturday game, which is a lot more work than actually on the ground. Um, yeah, so the first thing on a humorous end, I'd say, is you just hope that you have 12 or 13 people available, but others are not available because of conflicts, um,
Yeah.
so that you don't have to deal with telling people that sorry, you're not part of the team.
Yeah.
But yeah, jokes aside, uh, to be honest, the way I look at it is trying to find the right combination, right? So if you look at the league games, right, you obviously want to make sure you have given even enough opportunities to all the people in the team. And I think when you see a person, you understand what they're good in, what they're mediocre in. So
Yeah.
those league games kind of help you build that image of, yeah, as a captain, I think that this guy will fit into this situation. So it's trying to kind of create stories of what that person can do and come in the league, come in the playoff game, right? I think it's all about stitching those pieces together to make sure your team is one solid team. It can be a combination of people in form, it can be a combination of X factor, but at the end, it's that combination which gets a team back in, right? I still feel like people in form should be given more opportunities than the X factor, because the X factor players might not be in touch, might not have played the same ball game before, whatever the reason is. So it's all about finding the right combination. And on the flip side, right, say suppose you have 15 to 17 players who are available for the playoffs, who are excited to play the playoffs, but cricket being cricket, you only can allow 11 or 12 people on the field, right? I personally feel like at the level of cricket we play, people are matured enough to understand that the captain is going to do what's right for the team, but not think of it from a personal end. That's great boost for the captain themselves, but that kind of helps the team build by themselves, right? Versus having those egoistic clashes, which kind of screw up the team and cause more issues. But overall, I think it's a complete team effort versus just saying the captain runs the show. It's all about how different people communicate within the team and their expectations being met. So it's a combination of making things are being done at the right time. So it's definitely tricky managing people in the playoffs, but yeah, it just has to go with the flow. You can't predetermine that these 12 players are going to play the playoffs without even playing one league game. It's just going to be a building process.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Venu. I like what you said there. And you are really lucky if you have 15 guys who will not be upset, whose egos won't be crushed if you don't play them for whatever the reasons are, right? Being a captain, that's a hard decision you have to make. And regardless of which team it is, at the end of the day, you're always going to have a disappointed guy because he wants to play, he wants to contribute.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't see the responsibility, but at the end of the day, you want, what is the ultimate goal of playing in DCL with any team, right? You chose to play in a certain team. What is the ultimate goal? I think to me personally, that's winning the cup, right? And you want to contribute. Don't get me wrong. I would hate to not be playing in the playoffs if I'm on a team. But at the same time, I understand and I recognize that there might be a better batsman or a better bowler to come in and contribute. That might help you win the cup, right? So I find it hard. I can guarantee you 50% of the league, 50% of the teams in the league are on the side that you guys just mentioned, which is let's play together as a team. We're going to support you regardless if I'm in the 12 or not. I would like to be in the 12, but I get it, right? It's the other 50% that you see that things don't work out. There's personal agendas going on. But anyway, so now we're gonna take another 10 minutes on this topic because I have a couple of more follow-up questions on this. Now that you identified the 12, right? You have the 12. You have a fully loaded team. All 12 of you guys can bat. And there are a few batsmen who can play opening, who can play one down, but they have a personal preference, right? I want to open the inning. I want to come one down. But you have multiple choices to make, right? You're lucky that you have a great talent pool to pick from. How do you communicate that, hey, here's my guy, he's going to open, you are not going to get that chance, but I think you can contribute in number 2 or number 3 or number 4, right? How do you communicate that? Have you come across this situation before? 1. 2 is, when you have come across these types of situations, what was your method of communication to that guy who's going to be pissed because he's somebody else is taking the spot, right? How do you communicate that?
So to answer your question, have I come across such situations? I'd say multiple times, unfortunately.
Yeah.
How do I communicate this? So this is something I personally practice. I don't want to surprise the player saying that the player who has opened before, you are going to go 3 down, 4 down, whatever the different order is, right? I hate doing that. It's a shock to the player as well as the entire team. So making sure that the player understands what's required from the team has to be done 1 or 2 days prior, right? It cannot be done on the field. So that's number 1. And obviously, when you have a person who is used to or prefers opening, but is being asked to go 3 down, 4 down, there's definitely going to be those human tendencies that I don't like this, but you just have to give examples. You just have to talk about it from a team standpoint, right? It's not an individual game; it's a team game. So again, it's all about convincing them. I wouldn't want to say convincing as well, because if you start convincing a person, it might go 2 ways, but it's just talking about what's right for the team, right? If you talk about this is what I'm doing for you, that's a very wrong way of how you want to lead a team. But talking about what's right for the team is how it has to be looked into.
That's great, Venu. Thank you for sharing that. Imti, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of concur with what Venu said. But before that, I somehow feel all your questions are intended towards stars. Somehow.
No. Well, let's keep going and then we'll talk.
So keeping that aside, I think like what Venu said, I think definitely communication is the key in such kind of situations. And again, like the nature of the league itself is such that where you like it's not like international level where you have a 15 squad and you kind of most of the teams like just play the winning combination every game. That doesn't happen in DCL, right? So you always have 1 or 2 or 3 players changing for every game, right? Because of the availability or whatever issues, right? So there is no set lineup or set fixed order most of the time. So unless you have a core team of 7, 8 members that are regular in the games, then you can kind of build on it. But then you'll always have a situation where somebody comes into the team and then he wants to open the batting or play in the top three, but then you don't have a spot. You obviously have to fit him. If he has to play, then you have to fit him, right? Then that is where I think you need to talk to all these 3 or 4 guys involved and say, okay, this is the situation. This is what the captain is thinking or the team is thinking, and I think this is better for the team. So that communication is key, basically. And I think most of the time it is easy to convince players, and then I think giving. I personally feel that giving a more steady kind of lineup to the regular players is beneficial in the long run, because you know that these core players, 7-8 players, will be there available for all the games. Then you have a fixed plan around them, and then all these players who come in and play only few games, then they can play around and rotate in that missing gaps or spots.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. And let me just say this. It feels like we're focused on you, but let me tell you this. Every team in DCL is facing this challenge, right?
No, I know. I was just
It's
kidding
not,
about that. So
I know.
everybody will feel the
So,
same thing when you ask the question. Yes.
exactly. So my point from my whole purpose of this discussion is having, I know you guys you were an ex-captain, but Venu is the captain right now. Getting that perspective from a captain is important, and I can guarantee you the whole purpose is every captain in DCL is probably dealing with this issue. Is there a way that we can take away some of that pain? You know what I mean? It's like, hey, listen, I heard from this guy, he's having the same issue. I heard from Venu, he's having the same issue. I feel now better being a captain, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not pissing people off. Listen, at the end of the day, communication is the key. Here's what I would do, right? I asked you these questions, but now I'm gonna tell you what I think. I would set the expectation at the beginning of the season, which is, guys, we're a star-studded team. Everybody can bat, everybody can bowl. Ultimately, the goal is to get to the playoffs, from the playoffs to win the championship, right? Number 2 is whoever performs well, whoever gives me the commitment during the regular season is who I would personally prefer to play in the playoffs, because they've shown that commitment to my team, right? Because, yeah, I get it, the hard ball and all the other stuff, but you have to make a decision. Yes, there are X factor players in the, you're absolutely right, that you cannot ignore because they can make a big difference. But you give that room, you have a placeholder, if you want to call it that, 2 to 3 guys, the X factors, right? They're going to come in and play. But whoever performs well during the course of the season I'm going to tell you that you're going to most likely make my playoff team. The second thing I would do is I would look at, okay, the matchups, right? If I'm playing Stars or if I'm playing KRCC, what are their strengths? How many good bowlers they have? If I have 5 good bowlers that I'm going to face, obviously I need to find a balance on my side, bringing in good batsmen, good technically sound batsmen to play against Stars, for example. And that also means that, all-rounders would be preferred because I want to have the option to bowl as well. So, and I would explain this to the team. It's like, hey, look, if you're not making my 12, I most likely don't have a role for you this particular game against Stars. But if we play, if we win this playoff game, obviously we'll make it to the next round. The situation might be completely different. The scenario might be completely different. My matchups are going to look completely different. My player pool is going to look completely different. So that's what I would do. But the challenge, obviously, it's easier said than done. For the captain, it's important to communicate that to his players and set that expectation and let people know, look, here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. And we're going to stick with the plan. You may agree, you may not agree. The second thing is I would say, look, I want you guys a part of the team because you give us the best chance for us to win. Whether you played this game or not, maybe not, I don't know. But you guys put together as a team gives me the best chance to win. This game, next game, whatever the game that might be. So you all have provided me the time. I respect that. But our goal, not my goal, our goal, to Venu's point, is to win the cup. So do you want the cup or do you want your personal stats? That's the question you need to ask. If you want the personal stats, if the guy says, no, I want to look great, I want to get the most number of wickets, I want to bat the most number, and I want to score the most runs, you let that guy go next year because you don't need that guy. Because there are 12 guys in the team. One guy alone by himself cannot win you a game. He needs a runner, a non-striker on the other side. If the non-striker doesn't stick around, guess what's going to happen to this guy on the striking end? He's got no opportunity to score. So you guys don't need guys like that. I'm just giving you a blanket statement. Okay? All right, now I'm done. I'm going to get off my soapbox. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys sharing this info.
Yeah, Pradip, a quick
All right.
comment before I talk about it.
Sure, go ahead.
Santosh, yeah, Santosh is still leading Troy Hawks. If I don't say this, he'll get mad. So I'm
Okay.
I'm helping
All right.
Santosh.
Well, yeah, let
Sharing those
Santosh
feelings
know.
as a captain.
Yeah, no, we get his pain.
So,
All right,
Pradip,
let's
maybe
go to the. Sorry, go ahead.
one
Go
follow-up
ahead.
question to you. So you mentioned you will be playing, you'll be choosing your playing 11 or 12 based on your opponents, right? A counter
Yes.
question to that is, shouldn't you play to your strengths versus your opponent's strengths? Because that's going to be the best chance for your team winning, right? How do you look at it?
Yes. Yeah, yes and no. That's why my strategy when I'm playing Stars, of course, I need to have good batsmen, right? That's a given because Stars has got the best bowling lineup, in my personal opinion. 5, 6, you're facing 5, 6 good bowlers. So regardless, you need to have a good depth in batting. Now, the choices I'm going to make is if I have an all-rounder who's a bowler who can bat, right? I would obviously prefer that guy over a batsman who I have 7, 8 guys to pick from, right? So that's what I'm looking at when I'm taking on matchups. I'm not saying play to my strengths, but at the same time, what is my opponent bringing to that game that I need to be wary of? Did I answer that question for you?
You did, but I guess
Okay.
each captain or each individual has their own ways of doing things.
Yes.
But yeah, I understand.
Personal, yeah. But overall, everybody's facing the same challenges, right?
Right.
It's to allow and make the captains feel comfortable knowing that we're all in the same crap. I don't want to use the other word. Let's figure out a way to make this work at the end of the day.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's get into the upcoming matches. The first game is Stars versus MCC Miles. Imti, you can't pick, so I'll go to Venu.
I'll choose MCC Miles.
Okay. And I think this is going to be a good game, close game. It depends on which MCC Miles shows up, but I think the last win is going to give them some confidence.
Right.
All right, cool. Next game of the night is KRCC versus Red Devils. Imti?
I think I'll go with Red Devils for this one.
Cool.
I think it will be a close clash as well, but yeah, I'll choose Red Devils.
KRCC, interesting. We'll see. Next game, Pokeries and Legends, SLCC Legends. Imti?
Oh, this one is going to be a close one, I think. Probably I'll pick Legends for this one.
That's
Okay.
my
Venu?
Yep, SLCC Legends.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Pokeries. They're number 1, I thought, in the pools, right? Or are they? I can't remember. I think they are. Interesting.
Are they?
All right, cool. Yeah, I think they are. I'm not sure though. I think the last game, that's the only game they lost.
Yeah, at least on the group
believe.
B, they're fifth on the group.
Yeah.
It's just because of
Great.
the extra bonus point. That's all.
Yeah.
That's different, and the net run rate. Yeah.
Okay, got it. All right, let's see. Where am I? I lost my spot. Poker's Legends. Hitman Detroit Bulls, empty?
Yeah, Detroit Bulls. This one looks straightforward to me.
Okay.
Yep,
Venu?
same here. Detroit Bulls. I think they're on a good streak. I hope they continue.
Yeah, that's going to be a good game. Depends on how Bulls bat, because Hitman's got some good bowling. But I think that's their weakness, batting for Hitman. FCC versus Thunders, empty.
Yeah, I'll back Thunders to win this one. Obviously, last week's results will fire them up, hopefully, and
Yeah,
they should come back strong.
Venu?
I was going to say FCC provided the Indus Thunders form, but I'll still back Indus Thunders provided the quality of players in their team. So yeah, hopefully they'll pull up their socks and start getting back to the winning streak.
Stallions versus SLCC Guardians. This is Division 2.
I'll choose SLCC Guardians.
Yeah, same here,
Okay.
Guardians for me too.
Okay. Dark Horses versus Rebels Cricket Club. Empty?
Dark Horses, Rebels. I'll go with Dark Horses.
Yep, same here.
Same
Dark
here.
Horses.
Royal Challengers Detroit Motor City.
I think Royal
This can be a
Challengers are
good game.
doing pretty good, top on the table, Group B. So I'll go for them.
Yeah, Royal Challengers Detroit for me too.
Okay. Racha Riders Gujarat Warriors. I think this is going to be a good game. Empty?
Yeah, this looks like a close one on the cards, but I think I'll back Gujarat Warriors to win this one.
Okay.
Yep, me
Venu?
too. Without a
Right.
loss, so yeah,
Rangers.
assuming they'll continue
Okay,
that.
cool. MI Rangers versus Phantoms. Empty.
Rangers, MI Rangers for me.
Yep, same here. MI Rangers.
Okay. KCC versus Royal Hunkars.
You can't pick, Pradip.
I can't. I'm not picking. I'm
No,
hosting today, so I'm not picking.
I just had to give it back to you, sir. Sorry, you're playing KCC is playing who?
Royal Hunkars.
Royal. Oh yeah, KCC.
Can I pick Royal Hunkers, Ali?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. You can pick anybody you want.
Yeah, I'll choose
and
Kings.
I have to check with my. Go ahead and see.
If Royal Hunkars win, I think Jagan will give a big party because
He might. Yeah, I have to check with my captain to see if I'm in the playing 12. Marvels, next game, Marvels versus Punjab Lions, empty.
I will go with Lions.
Yep, Punjab Lions too.
Okay. Strikers versus Hawks. This is going to be a good game. Empty.
I would have said so, but looking at the form, Hawks currently is not doing so well. So, and Strikers on the other hand has given some good games, beat Gladiators recently. So
Yeah.
Strikers looks good. Strikers.
Yep, share the same
Yeah.
feelings. I hope that it was Hawks, but yeah, provided the way they're batting and bowling, Strikers, yes.
Okay. Fighters versus GLCC, empty.
Yeah, this one I think will be a close one. Fighters looking really, really good with all their wins. They're in a good momentum, good space. GLCC again, like on and off. They had a couple of bad weeks, but last week they had a good win. So this should be a close one. But just on the paper, if GLCC has the full team, I think GLCC has a slight edge for me.
Venu?
I'll go with their streak performance. I think this is the first game we are on two different pages. I'll say
Okay.
Fighters for this one.
I really want to pick Fighters, but then somehow, I don't know. GLCC is what I'm.
You don't know which
Fighters-
GLCC is going to show up. That's the problem.
That's what I said. I had a disclaimer. Obviously, I have to pick one
Yeah.
team, but the disclaimer is if the entire GLCC, like the full lineup is available, I think GLCC is.
Yeah, quick comment.
Yeah,
One thing I'd add is I feel fighters are more predictable, if I can use that word, versus GLCC is little on the unpredictable side.
yeah, consistency problem with GLCC. I agree. All right, next game: Thunderbolts versus Punjab Scorpions. Division 2 game.
I'll say Thunderbolts.
Yeah, Thunderbolts for me too.
All right. Stingers versus SSK. I think SSK. What do you guys think? Oh,
I
was
might
thinking
go
close
Stingers way actually.
Yeah, I was thinking Stingers.
you're right. All right. Okay. Stingers both?
Yep, Stingers.
All right. So it looks like we have a few makeup games here. FCC versus GLCC.
This one is an interesting
Mhm.
one. Yeah, again, I would pick GLCC for sure. They'll play back-to-back games, so hopefully they'll be in good rhythm.
Yeah, I think
they're
GLCC
young.
too.
Yeah, they're young guys. I'm thinking. So we're good. Spartans versus Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts.
Yep, Thunderbolts too.
Okay. Vikings, MI Rangers.
MI.
MI Rangers.
Okay. Gujarat Warriors versus Stallions. Warriors?
Yeah, Gujarat Warriors.
Okay. All right, cool. That was the last game, and I'm sure we went over 28 minutes. Jagan's probably pissed, but that's okay. Thanks, guys.
The last missions part was fun, so I wouldn't complain.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks for joining the show today. I appreciate it. Jagan, thank you for making me the host. Hope you're doing well. Thanks to all the listeners. Hopefully you didn't have to stay up too late. And last words, Imti, you want to go?
Yep. Again, like thanks to all the listeners who are our motivation to do this week in, week out. So thanks again for staying late and listening to our talk. Thanks to Jagan, Pradip, Venu for all your insights into the game, and all the best to all the players playing this week. Hopefully, we get to talk some good things in the next week's show.
Awesome. Venu, last words?
Yep. Thanks, Jagan. Thanks, Pradip. And thanks, Imti. I guess, Jagan, Pradip, thanks for inviting me again. It was a pleasure to be on the show. Yeah, thanks for all the listeners who've been patiently waiting for the extra 30 minutes we consumed. But yeah, looking forward to the exciting matches this week.
Great. Thanks a lot, gentlemen. You all have a great night. Listeners, thank you for listening. And I know we went out a little longer, but hope you guys had fun. Jagan, thank you, and have a good night.
Yep, good night.